One and all.
That was about the most quiet he's ever done that.
Well, I was going to roll through it and then check into our YouTube feed to see the epic Wally. Something just, his eyes fell. It was kind of funny. He just went, ow.
Even he doesn't like hearing it. He didn't have ears.
Yeah.
He's also not alive.
Yeah, he's kind of sad. But anyway, welcome to today's episode.
Wally's kind of sad, just like Jer.
Happy New Year's Eve, everybody.
Happy New Year's Eve, everybody.
Happy New Year's Eve. We're going to roll into 2024.
Oh, it's already here.
In style, in fashion, with some beautiful flashing LEDs behind us. Again, check out our awesome set on YouTube. And today we are going to be watching, in honor of New Year's Eve, the Simpsons New Year's Eve episode from Season 9, Trouble with... Jared just told me the title now.
The Trouble with Trillions.
That's what I was honestly the Trouble with Troubadours. That's something, isn't that? Like Trouble with
Troubadour?
No, but the Trouble with I feel like that's a title from like a different show.
Probably.
Like, yeah, it just sounds very... But yeah, so we're showing the Trouble with
Sounds
Trillions.
very Chuck Mangione.
Yeah. Yeah, I am excited. I don't think I've seen this episode. Jared hyped it up.
Well, I hyped up one scene.
It's true. It's true.
So it's basically, I don't know if the whole episode is New Year's based. It's probably just the opening, or something. There's a scene in it where they have the ball going down and it gets stuck, and they just keep saying the number over and over. And Chief Wiggum shoots it, and it just. So
if it's
that's
not the whole episode, I would be so upset.
I will also be upset.
But that's like
really.
it was on a list of like New Year's Eve based episodes, so I wonder if they either counted it for one scene or it is a whole episode. Either way, we'll at least get to hopefully see that scene. It told me it was in there, so if Google lied to me, then we just watched an episode that's not New Year's at all.
Also, if there's a ball drop in it, it's one of two things. It's New Year's or it's oh man, I butchered this.
The Lions?
I was gonna say
You know a lot about dropping balls.
It's the puberty. Wow, you know that would have been really funny. If
I thought you were really funny, Dickie. Come on, I thought you were really funny.
That joke is hilarious in my head. I just butchered the delivery.
That joke is hilarious about 30 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
it's The Simpsons. Yeah, it's some consider seasons 1 to 10 the golden age, so it's technically, according to that, still golden age Simpsons. So we'll just have to see if it is.
A little peel back behind the curtain here. Yes, we do find these episodes on Google, not things we actually remember.
We are not smart enough to know every single New Year's episode.
Well, this is one I don't think any of us have seen. I've seen the one scene.
Oh, I thought you saw the whole episode.
No,
you just.
I go, I know that scene. What episode's it in? Oh, it says it's on a list of New Year's episodes, and
how do we also impress upon them the difficulty of finding New Year's Eve episodes?
You
wouldn't think that it would be so hard, though, because
next year we'll just watch
it's an American television show. It's an American holiday. It's a big American holiday.
It's a holiday everywhere.
Yeah, you're right.
Celebrates New Year.
You're right.
Just America.
What about Chinese New Year?
Well,
that's a different.
That would
holiday.
be even more niche.
Yep.
But just say,
I was confusing it with Thanksgiving.
Spins around the same globe.
That's not true. The Earth is flat.
All the way right, of course. Anyway,
all around the globe. Yeah.
Let's watch this.
All around the platter.
Let's watch this episode. Let's
take a bite.
And ladies and gentlemen, we just watched an episode with about let's call it 30 seconds of New Year's, and the rest were taxes in Cuba.
So technically, it does have less New Year's than Kid in King Arthur's Court has baseball.
Don't get me wrong, taxes are a part of the New Year's. Like, Happy New Year. Make sure to pay your taxes.
That's true.
Like, that's definitely part of it. You got a little bit of a New Year's spirit. A little bit.
Getting your taxes out of the way? No, I'm mailing off death certificates.
Those suckers. I did my taxes a whole year ago. Dad, those were last year's taxes. What was that, sweetie? Did you see a scary picture in your picture book? No. And then, of course, I put your tax forms in your to-do pile. I have a to-do pile? Down. So so funny.
This got carried away so fast.
So to tell the viewers out there, it starts as just New Year's and taxes. It flash forward to April 15th, tax day, and everyone's scrambling, and Homer's the last one, and his gets audited, and basically the government has him be a squeal, or what's it called, a snitch. A snitch wearing a wire, and that turns into him hunting down the $1 trillion bill that Mr. Burns stole in the 40s. Just for Burns, him, and Smithers to flee the country and try to buy Cuba, lose the dollar, end up just stranded on a raft.
And then it ends. It just ends on the raft.
It's just, that's the whole episode. It just escalated. You were saying it like, well, it escalated. It's like, yep, it just keeps getting goofier. I loved it. It's like, it's just ridiculous. I love it, and that's
Does it ever make you want to go and watch all of The Simpsons?
I've wanted to go, but the problem becomes it's not done, and it's in season like 34. So it's like, I don't want to start until it's done, because then I know where my end point is, because eventually you catch up. And if you catch up, then you're watching week to week while the season's running, and it's like, I'd rather just wait till it's done. The problem is, it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. And I think we've probably said this before, like when we covered the St. Patrick's Day one, or, well, it was a drinking one. Probably if one of the big five pass away or retire, that's probably when they consider ending.
They've got
big five, big six.
Yeah,
because they've had voice actors die, and they've replaced, but none of like the main ones. They're all still there, so it's kind of got to be one of those things of just. It's one of these days they got to realize, okay, all these voice actors are getting up there, and do we want to end with a bang? Do we want to just, it cuts off? How do we want to do this? I know they've talked about making another movie for like a decade.
Personally think that would be the best way to end it.
Oh, yeah.
End it on another movie. I do.
Yeah, the problem with the movie last time was they were making the movie and that current season, which was season like 18 or something. Like, they're making them both simultaneously, which means people got stretched thin, and it was, people were working like 20-hour days.
Was that what broke it?
Like the show?
Yeah.
No, I just think it's called recycled writers and different showrunners, and just being on for 20 years, you eventually grow stale.
Not keep interest. I mean, look at Supernatural. Like, that got stale after like
5,
6.
Now, to be fair, that's not a half-hour sitcom. That's an hour-long
it's
drama with
It's
art.
also the showrunner leaving the show.
Yeah. That's also very long, right? That made it like 13 seasons.
It's also
right?
the studio.
15?
It's all. Yeah, that's 15.
And I feel like it's
extra and a bonus, a B-side.
Oh, right, yeah.
I feel like, and it's also a little more limited in what they can do, because it's a very specific thing they're doing, where The Simpsons has so many characters and so many different things, because they can do anything, because it's just open format. You know what I'm saying?
Also, the showrunner told the story that he wanted to tell, and he was like, I'm done. And then the studio said, but we make money.
They're going to keep it going.
Yep, it's a walking corpse.
And keep it going. And keep it going. And keep it going.
Yeah. In the case of The Simpsons, though, it's like, that's when I'd start, is whenever it ends, I'll start from the beginning and watch the whole thing, because first 10 are the golden age, and then it kind of dips, and people have said in the last couple years they've started to trickle into better territory. Not great, but like better.
Really?
I think it's because they. If you've ever heard the term jerk-ass Homer, that is Homer postseason like 7 or 8. He starts to become more of a jerk than like the lovable goof we know. And it doesn't mean he isn't ever a lovable goof. He just becomes a jerk for no reason, and that's like 20 years of that. And I think now we're out of that. Well, out of that now, he's become a lot more wholesome of a character. Okay. A lot of media these days has turned more wholesome in that regard.
Yeah.
And from what people said, it's not as sharp as it was at the beginning, but it's changing from him being a jerk and him being like a caring father, and so it's like it's not the same, but it's at least better than some of what it was.
Kind of like The Office, like how they had to change Michael Scott from just being...
That's a little different. I think that's more of first season or two, it's not working as well, and they made him more likable.
I guess that's true, because like, they still made
that's making a character better, whereas Homer's just, he changed, and they changed him again because, there's only so long you can do the same shtick.
Yeah.
So, what?
It sounded like you said another word. or were they about to?
I was gonna say spiel.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So that's my thing. And then this episode, of course, is not a New Year's episode in full. It's just New Year's kicks off the inciting incident, which then kicks off the plot. So it's like the kickoff to the kickoff.
Yeah, I still appreciate immediately it strikes midnight. Oh, time to do my taxes.
Yep, right away, and he's like, it's like, Ned, it's 8:45. Oh, but here I am talking away like it's 8:35. Gets there right away. Oh, don't forget the mints. Just so many great jokes, and
It's
just so funny.
Bucket, quick audit, quick refund,
refund.
severe audit.
That part got me. That really. There's a lot of. I was like laughing a lot. Like I feel like in the Simpsons is really good at like packing jokes per minute. Like I feel like they just pack them in.
But then they leave room for story. I watched at this point it's been out a while, but there's a video on YouTube from Super Eye Patch Wolf looking at the Simpsons again, and he looked at like a season 32 episode, or like the average jokes per minute, and then he compared it to a couple Golden Age episodes, and the joke rate's higher now.
Oh, interesting.
They're not all funny, so that's why it probably feels worse, but
They
also
probably feel more like Family Guy jokes.
yeah. And he was saying how while Golden Age has a good amount of jokes and they pack them in, there's still space for story, whereas now it's just packing everything you can. Just something's gonna stick.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
And this one, it helps that there's a lot of great jokes, and it feel like, and when it escalates, like it's just ridiculous and it's funny. That same video talked about how like we think of Golden Age Simpsons like 1 to 10 is like some of the best TV ever, and then everything after. But then he was saying like, look at some of these reviews during this run, and there are people who did not like it.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it got more zany and less sharp and clever. Because when it started, it was very grounded and different, and then by the time you hit seasons 5, 6, 7, stories got bigger, things got wackier. It became what we think of as The Simpsons, as opposed to what the early fans saw when it first came out. So it's just weird to think how no one realized it was the Golden Age while they were in it. It's that Andy
That's
Bernard
usually how
quote.
it-
Yeah, I was
wish
going to
you
say
could know it was
those
the Golden
labels
Age.
are applied to things in
retrospect,
hindsight. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just funny how it's like that's the bulk of the show that people consider good, and a lot of people didn't realize that at the time, of course.
Oh,
And now we think of that only as that one. At the time, there are plenty of detractors. Not that it wasn't popular, not that people didn't think it was good. It's just there's a big group of people that were not fans of the direction it went. But that's just probably because it changed from what they liked.
Right, which
That's
that's
something different.
You see that with South Park, too. You see people that, when they were doing the construction paper cutouts, like, exclusively, like, that is their South Park. And then when they switch to the computer animation, it's just not as good. And now, where they're at, it's all, just like Family Guy, it's all fart jokes and...
Oh, I think South Park still got some good. I mean, I haven't watched
Yeah.
the newer stuff.
You
but
say it still got some good stuff, but you haven't watched it.
I haven't seen much of the new stuff. Yeah, I usually stick around. Like I do remember the COVID episode they did was, I got a really big kick out of that. Where they
The episode or the specials?
Are they the same?
It's whenever
The specials, there's like 2 50-minute specials that are like them in the future.
it was the one with Mickey Mouse went over and he got bit by a bat.
Okay, no,
So
that'd
I
be
think
the
it
episode.
was
I've
an
seen
actual
one of the
episode,
specials,
yeah.
and I did not like it because I don't like South Park. Long story of why I had to watch it. Didn't realize there were 2 parts, so I watched part 2 on accident and was very confused as to what was going on.
Might throw you off just a little bit.
That's not why I didn't like it. It was because
I-
I'm sitting there going, this is just not my thing.
I will proudly say that the last episode of South Park that I watched was the mini chunk about the Wii. And that was...
2006.
That was a while ago.
Was that long ago?
Well,
when the Wii
Wii was
came
06,
out.
so it's got to be around there.
I was thinking it was like, yeah, it would have had to have been then.
'Cause that was the same year as the 360, or the year before the Xbox 360?
I don't know.
It's the year before. Or so.
That's-
It's
yeah,
somewhere in
something
there we're going to
like
have
that.
where people are yelling at us like, it's this year, you idiots. It's like,
I always get, I tend to get consoles, well, back then, especially before I had adult money, I tended to get consoles late, so it's
At
all
least
kind
you
of
had
shifted in my head.
consoles.
I can't help what your parents did and didn't buy you and what you did and didn't prioritize your money with.
It's like, if you save up for it, you guys can go. It's like, you know how long that will take?
Yeah, my parents.
I gotta go buy a burrito.
Yeah, my parents got me a Wii when it came out, man. Those were good times.
Oh, you see the nose sticking up in the air? I had a Wii.
Jared, I gotta
We did get a Wii like 3 or 4 years after it came out.
I gotta tell
That
you,
was
Jared.
way after the fact.
I got a Wii when they were out. When everyone was having a hard time getting one.
How old were you?
I was a sophomore in college.
Yeah, you were like 19 or 20. So
But
you had more
that
money.
is one of my fondest memories with my father. Is going to Circuit City.
Oh,
Circuit City.
Right where Best Buy is,
Yeah.
that building, and standing there in the cold on a February morning, praying that they come out with enough tickets where we are in line. He and I would, like, one of us would go sit in the truck, and the other one would take the place in line, and then the other one, then we'd switch.
That's awesome.
And oh man, it was so worth it. That is like one of my core memories from college.
It's a good game. Anyway, The Simpsons. Anything else about this episode or the series in general?
Pretty much not much to do with New Year's, so I think I
actually
had
love
a-
that. It was New Year's and then, all right, we're going to Cuba.
Yeah, I can. In my adult age, in my old age.
either way works. In your old adult age.
In my old adult age, I can definitely see why my parents didn't want me watching this as a child.
A lot of this, honestly, would go over a kid's head. I feel like.
Her thing was the disrespect between the characters. That's why she didn't want me watching it. And I think sometimes Bart says damn or something like that.
He said ass in this one.
Yeah, that would be part of it.
Fair enough. Well, anyway, all right. I have nothing else to say about this. Jared, where can they find us on the socials?
Alrighty, for the last time this year on
Yeah.
Bite Size, you can follow us on the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the funny TikTok, and you can listen to us on Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and if it's YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, ring our bell, make sure you rate us and like us on all those apps.
Absolutely.
Appetizers?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes, thank you for tuning in. Yes, everybody go enjoy your 2024.
Happy New Year.
Happy
Happy New
New
Year
Year.
from
Yeah.
Off Slate Media.
we're doing it together?
Slate. Yeah, let's do it.
Happy
Happy
New Year from Off Slate
Media.
Nicely done.
There.
We'll be back in 2024. Stay tuned. And until then, make sure
You bet your sweet Bippy. I wanted to say that.
What
in
do
an
you-
episode. That was on my bucket list for 2023 to say you bet your sweet Bippy on the podcast, and now I did it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay.
Make sure to
Take a bite.